The house stood in a quiet street in Miri, Sarawak, where the afternoon heat pressed against the windows like a hand. Inside, Lina sat at the kitchen table with 3 unpaid bills, a phone full of unanswered messages, and a property valuation that felt too low to be real. She needed to sell fast, but every offer she imagined seemed to carve away too much of what the home was worth. Her brother Ian arrived first, carrying a folder and speaking in the careful tone of someone trying not to add to the stress. He said the first mistake in an urgent sale was panic. A rushed price, he explained, often invited bargain hunters instead of serious buyers. Lina listened, but her mind kept returning to the deadline on the latest notice from the bank. That evening, she visited a local property agent named May, who had a reputation for being direct. May walked through the house room by room, noting the small things that made a difference. The cracked light cover in the hallway, the dark stain on the ceiling, the crowded shelves in the living room. She said buyers in a hurry still wanted a place that felt move-in ready. If the house looked neglected, they would quickly assume the price should drop even further. May suggested a simple plan: clean everything, remove extra furniture, fix only the visible problems that made the house look costly to repair, use daylight for photos. List at a realistic price, not the highest dream price and not the lowest desperation price. Price it just below the nearest round figure, so the listing appeared sharp and competitive. Most important, she said, do not hide the urgency, but do not advertise fear. Lina followed the advice with uncomfortable discipline. She borrowed a vacuum, sold 2 old cabinets, and asked her neighbor for help washing the front tiles. The house changed. It no longer looked like a place losing a fight. It looked like a well-kept home ready for its next owner. The first week brought only a few inquiries. One caller offered much less than expected and demanded an answer by that night. Lina nearly accepted, but May warned her that a single pressured offer could be a trap. They declined politely. The next day, 2 more buyers came to view the property. One was a young family relocating for work in Sarawak. The other was an investor who asked practical questions and did not waste time. Then came the twist. The investor admitted he was only testing the market and would not proceed unless the price dropped sharply. The young family, however, quietly returned the next afternoon. They had brought a relative who understood houses and financing. They noticed the clean layout, the solid roof, and the short distance to schools and shops. They were not chasing a bargain. They were looking for certainty. Lina made one careful concession, lowering the price slightly and agreeing to a faster timeline in exchange for a cleaner transaction. The family accepted. The deposit arrived soon after, and the papers moved without drama. By the time the sale was complete, Lina had not escaped every loss, but she had avoided the worst of them. She learned that selling fast did not mean selling blindly. In Miri, as anywhere, speed came from preparation, realism, and restraint. Under pressure, the smartest move was not to drop everything at once, but to make the home easy to choose.